Welcome to Nugg Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nugg Talk, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything going on in the NBA, everything going on with your Denver Nuggets. I'm your host, Loki, here once again with my co-host, Phil. What's up?
What's up?
It was a better week.
It was a better week. I'm feeling better. Feeling pretty good, actually.
It wasn't as shitty. So, good there. We are happier this week, and I think people are panicking less, so that's very good. But just to get going right away, first we'll just talk off with some little COVID issue news and see how that will affect not only us, but other teams in the league. Then we'll go over our games for this week, give out some MVPs, talk about positives and negatives, and then from there we'll just predict our schedule. Well, not all the way through, but till the OKC game, and then that'll be the podcast. So we'll get through this one. First off with the news. MPJ was one of the first players of many players to get out from the get-go of our last episode. Literally, as soon as I think we stopped recording the last episode, the news came out that he got into COVID tracing protocol, so he would have to miss games in quarantine, and then it happened again. They haven't really touched on it much, but like how he got it, what's going on, did he get it? Nothing's come out about it.
Yeah, we know nothing about what happened.
Yeah. But it's not the only player that it's happened to. It's happening to a lot of teams right now. We played one of those teams.
Yeah. The weird thing is that it happened to him twice.
Yeah, so that's the thing. No one knows why. Did
he quarantined for 10 days and he had to do an additional 7, I think.
So did he go out twice? Did he making bad decisions? Did he just get in contact with someone maybe in his family who had it? No one knows. They're very knit and tight about it. But yeah, he is out for foreseeable future. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen to him again, but it's happening to a lot of teams. Like I said, 76ers we played, they faced it. Celtics and Heat are going through it right now. I think the Nets had some of the issues as well. KD had it, but he's already back. Or he didn't have it, but he was in the COVID tracing protocol. It's not going well for the NBA. They're already canceling games. How do you see it going the rest of the way through? Do you think they will postpone this season?
No, I do think that this increases the likelihood of them doing a bubble in the playoffs. But I think they are going to go through this entire season. They'll probably delay some games, and then they might. I think they haven't released the second half of the schedule because of this. So now they can figure out where to drop in these makeup games if needed. But yeah, I think they're going to play it just like the NFL did. I feel like it's impossible to handle it.
Yeah.
Flawlessly. There's too much human error, and there's not a bubble to protect them. So
true. Yeah, I definitely also agree. I think they're just going to find ways to postpone games and then try to fit them in later in. Will we see back-to-backs as a result of this? It's very possible. That hasn't happened since the lockout back in, I think, 2011 or 12. But it's possible. I would hope not, because that's never fun for anybody. But, yeah, they're probably just going to keep postponing games. They're already losing enough money. I don't think they care to lose any more money. I agree with you, though. Probably if they don't get all vaccinated before playoff time, they will all probably be in a bubble again for the playoffs come around. But, yeah, at least for us, it was only MPJ. And no one else, because we could have been fucked like the Sixers, or, well, mainly the Sixers got fucked, but the Celtics and Miami, everyone else could have got it. Somehow it was just him. I don't know how. Yeah. But they won't tell us.
We're lucky no one tested positive from the Mavericks game, too.
Yeah, also that. Yeah, the Mavericks also got it. We played them. None of us got it. They keep getting tested. Sixers had it. We keep getting tested. We keep getting negative, so that's good. It shows that most of our team is doing the right stuff.
Except for one of them.
99% of them. But it is what it is. Either way, so that did affect us going into the games that we predicted. We did not have MPJ for this whole week. So we lost to Phoenix, as I predicted that we would. But it was a close game, 106-103. Weren't playing super well at the beginning, but then made a late run into it, kind of like this team always does. It seems like they show up in the fourth quarter. Then the next two games, we played Minnesota twice. Won the first one, 124-109, and won the second one, 123-116. For them, the first one, Malik popped off for them the second one, Wancho popped off. So you're welcome because we gave you your team. Who would you give MVPs for those 2 games, starting off with the first one?
Are you talking about Phoenix or?
Oh, no MVPs for losers anymore.
Okay.
No more MVP when we lose.
Fair enough.
We shouldn't be losing anymore.
We shouldn't be losing. I was going to say...
and anyways, it's probably always going to be Jokic right now. But
yeah,
we'll try to find ways around it sometimes.
I will say about all of these L's, they should not have been L's.
Hey, at least they've all been close. But that's
true.
something we'll get into later for sure.
Okay, so for Timberwolves, I'll give the MVP to Jamal. Although, it's always easy to give it to Jokic after looking at these stat lines. But I'll give it to Jamal. He scored 36 points, and we won this game pretty handily. And I will give Jamal credit when he has it, but I will have some things to say later on. So
yeah. And then I will also give it to Jamal for that game because he did score 30. That was one of his bounce-back games after having a very horrendous game against the Phoenix Suns. So good for him coming back off of that one. And then the next one, I think it's very clearly just Jokic.
yeah, he scored 35.
Yeah, we can't get around it. It's going to be hard not to give it to Jokic a lot of times. But 2 games we should have won, and we did. So it's against a bad team without Karl Anthony Towns, and we won both of them pretty handily, even though the second one was pretty close. But again, we'll get into it. Then we lost to the Mavs in an overtime kind of nail-biter. Luka and Jokic both popped off. National TV game was a close loss, but we did lose. And then who would be your MVP for the Philadelphia game where we won 115-103?
Gary Harris. Well, God, Jesus, Jokic.
Yeah, he's really good.
I'll give it to Gary because of Jokic. That's what we expect. We
Yeah,
expect him to
it's
put up
just what
these
it is
crazy
now.
stats. I'm gonna give it to Gary because this was the beginning of his what hopefully is his bounce back. Because he's been playing super well as of late, and
Yes,
I hope he
has.
keeps it up. I love what he does for this team. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's Gary. For
I'll
sure.
also give it to Gary. Big game for him. Finally found his 3-point shot, especially in this one. He shot 5 of 8 from 3, 21 points. Leading scorer for us in this game. Also played exceptional defense, as he always does. Nikola was also really good with 15, 12, and 9. Will and Jamal threw in 14 each as well, so pretty good game. And Jermichael Green, let's give a little shout out to him for all of these games.
He's been great.
He's been great. So
He's been our most consistent player besides Jokic.
yeah, he's been really good. And then for the New York game, which we absolutely dominated, 114-89. Wasn't really close at all at any point in this game, and that's pretty good because, again, I know it's the Knicks, but this is a better playing Knicks team.
They've been playing some good basketball.
Yeah, they were 5-4 when we were going into it, and we were 4-5, so they were better than us record-wise, at least going into this. Who was your MVP for this one? Again, hard not to do Jokic.
I think it's Jokic probably.
Yeah,
but
he had 22 and 10 and 5. But Gary played well again. He
Yeah.
had 14, shot 50% again from 3, so that's pretty good.
Gary played well. I'd say the bench. I mean, let's give credit to the bench. They scored, 54 points?
Yeah, they scored a lot. So let's give it to the bench. We'll
I'll
give
give it to the
MVP
bench.
to the bench for once actually doing really, really well.
Yeah, keep it up, please.
So good for them. But overall, in that stretch, we went 4-2. So it's like both of us predicted. We just got the games wrong. But we are 5-5 now. We're finally 500. The team is playing better, but we have still had some losses. So let's start off with, throughout these games, what are some of the negatives you saw that give you concerns or worry you?
First off, let's just say I feel like, assuming we had MPJ, I feel like we would have won at least one, if not both of these games.
Yes.
And then, but also as far as things that can improve, defense is still not amazing.
Still pretty bad.
Rebounding is hit or miss, it feels, but they're better.
They're getting better.
Jermichael
Jermichael
Green's
has helped.
Helped a lot on that. Faku's bounced back a little bit. That's good. I'm just going to come out and say it. Will Barton has been awful, and he has been, in my opinion, he is a lot of the reason why we lost to Dallas, outside of Michael Malone and his bad rotations.
Yeah, I would touch on a lot of defensive issues so far. It's definitely still the major thing that is plaguing us.
Yeah.
My main concern right now, and it's still my main concern, but wasn't as big of an issue in the Sixer or Knicks game, actually, is in the first, I think, 4 games of the stretch against Phoenix, Minnesota, both times, and Dallas. at one point in the second or the third quarter, we gave up over 30 points, sometimes over 40 points. It just looks like for some reason there's always one quarter where this team just stops giving a
They
shit.
just check out.
And I don't know why. In the Minnesota game, the second Minnesota game, it was the second quarter.
They scored 43.
They scored 40 points. And that one's also a little bit on Jokic because he was getting frustrated with the refs. Those refs were terrible for both teams. They gave us over 40 free throws. It was super ticky-tacky. They called literally everything. It was not a fun game to watch. It almost lasted 3 hours. No basketball game should last that long.
Crazy.
It was a really annoying game to watch, but Jokic got really frustrated by the refs, who gave him a tech for doing a chin-up on the rim, which I feel like is not fair because this is the first time he can do that. Let him have it once. Come on. And then they kept calling fouls on him. He got another tech, but it was, since the other one wasn't an actual real tech, he didn't get ejected. But at that point, then the whole team just started fighting the refs and not paying attention to what the Timberwolves are doing. And Juancho started bringing them back because Juancho popped off until we put Gary on him in the second half. But that is the issue with this team, is I feel like they get bored.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's they get bored or they just check out, but the defense just doesn't show up for 4 quarters until the Knick game. The Knick game has been our best defensive game. It's not even close. It's the first time we held an opponent to under 100 points.
Yeah.
So that's promising. But
it almost feels like they just aren't locked in. That's we haven't even gotten to him, but Jamal Murray's been wildly inconsistent.
yes, and that was going to be my other negative. Jamal Murray has been garbo. I know you said Will has been, but Will has had good games. Without Will, we don't win that second game against Minnesota, and Will has still done decently well in his time replacing who should be our starter. Granted, he has had a bad game. I will admit that game against the Mavs was not a good game. The game yesterday was not a good game for Will Barton. But without him, we don't win that second Minnesota game, and at least he's filling in because we need him right now. But Jamal is the one we have expectations for. Jamal is the person that's supposed to be the leader of this team, the second leader of this team behind Jokic, but especially the leader of this team when Jokic goes on the bench. I did see a stat that said we are the best offensive rated team in the league when Jokic is on the court, and it's not even fucking close, just because he's playing at such an amazing MVP level. You take him off the court, we're worse than the 2012 Charlotte Hornets, which was the worst team in NBA history on the offensive side of the ball. Now, granted, that is a lot of the beginning of the year. We were playing really bad. We didn't know our rotations that well. We were missing JaMychal Green. We were learning how the bench works, but also it's definitely on Jamal Murray.
Yeah, Jamal needs to be. He doesn't. It's almost like he doesn't shoot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a mixture of he's shooting less than Will Barnes some games, which should never be happening. He's shooting less than Gary Harris some games, which should never be happening, and that's one thing. He needs to be shooting more. 2 is he needs to stop disappearing. In the game against the Timberwolves, in the second game against the Timberwolves, he had 9 first quarter points. Didn't score again until the fourth quarter. In the game against the Mavs, he had 15 points in the first half. Completely disappeared in that second half. And then hasn't showed up at all in the Sixer or Knick game, especially the Knick game. Jamal Murray, even though his averages are saying that he's looking good and he's near 20-point per game scorer, or is one currently on the edge of one, it has been a very inconsistent way to get that average. And I don't like it. I think Jamal has been one of the main issues. We have lost all of the games we have lost this year. If Jamal plays bad, we're most likely going to have the likelihood of losing. And it's a concern for sure. Hopefully he starts figuring it out. I don't know why he doesn't give a shit in the regular season, but it just seems like he does not care for the regular season unless it's against big-name opponents, which is annoying. But that is definitely my other negative so far.
One thing that is so weird for me about Jamal and his season so far is that like the stats say he's been playing fine. It's weird. As far as averages go, he's having the best season of his career.
But it's misleading.
It is misleading.
If you look at those game splits, it goes one game 9 points, one game 34, one game 10, one game 20 something. I need consistency, Jamal.
He had a really good 4-game stretch, but then it's
died off again.
Yeah.
It is very strange.
He's had 2 bad games in a row.
He's not playing well right now. He's not playing consistently well. That's the main issue. There's some games where he just pops off. There's some games he disappears. And that Mavs game is also a misleading game because he still scored 20 in that game, but he really disappeared in that second half and that overtime.
Yeah, he had some opportunities to be really clutch in that game.
But I will say, one game that definitely was Malone's fault of all of the games was definitely that Mavericks game.
Yeah, that was awful.
That's another negative, as you mentioned, and we have touched on before. Malone is testing out new rotations. Now, granted, the implementation of JaMychal Green back into the lineup has helped out immensely, especially with how well he's shooting from three right now. He has been a huge positive for us. Definitely our best bench player right now, and it's not even close. But with that, he decided to put PJ Dozier in that overtime instead of JaMychal Green.
Or
Paul.
Just even someone with fresh legs I would have accepted, but they were playing that like whole fourth quarter too.
Yeah, it was a weird decision.
It was so weird.
PJ doesn't have the decision making or like the experience yet to feel comfortable in that. He made a lot of dumb turnovers in that overtime. I don't know. I feel like I like PJ too, but I feel like Malone's overrating PJ and his value to the team. I think PJ is like our seventh man right now, ahead of JaMychal.
Yeah.
But that could also, I mentioned this to Phil, and I think it's definitely a possibility that the reason that JaMychal hasn't played that many minutes till the Knicks game is because he did come off of a calf injury. Maybe he was on a minute restriction. We don't know. They didn't mention it. But that could be a reason. But I don't think PJ should ever be getting more minutes than JaMychal Green, especially with the way he's playing. Also, the biggest issue that I think me and Phil have both had is this 4-guard lineup.
Yeah, it's really awful. It's too small.
Yeah, it's Facu, Jamal, PJ, like Gary or Will, and then like Jokic or Paul or someone, one big guy. It never works.
I mean, I've seen him run like fucking Facu, Monte, Jamal, Barton, and then fucking Green or Millsap before too.
Yeah, it's weird to have these small of lineups. I know we're a very guard-heavy team right now, especially with MPJ out, but I don't like those lineups. They never play well. It's very weird, and I think that has a lot to do with also why our offensive rating when we go to a non-Jokic lineup is not good. It's just because, like, you're not generating... There's no way to create good screens if you just have one good screener. Like, then there's all these tiny guys, and then... I don't know. It's just not a good lineup to me. I know he wants a maximum amount of playmakers, but I feel like whenever he puts in this lineup, they always overpass.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like it's hurting them more than anything.
It's too much selflessness, and also honestly not enough shot making.
Yeah, and I feel like there's always times where like you'll pass it to Facu in the corner, he's open, and then Facu's a pass first guy, so he'll pass up this open 3-point shot to give it to someone else, and it's like, why are you doing this? And then Jamal's doing that too right now because he's trying too hard to be a point guard. It's really weird. I don't like the lineup. I think we're going away from it a little bit. At least we did in that Knicks game. Hopefully we continue to go away from it and just run normal, not small ball lineups because I fucking hate them. Also, it hurts with the rebounding on the defensive side. They're too small to defend, and even they do, they're probably not going to get the rebound. I don't like that rotation. But now we'll get to the positives. And you mentioned one of them, the resurgence of Gary Harris.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
He looks really good recently. I hope he keeps it up.
We have to prove all the haters wrong. I am the biggest Gary Harris stan. Fuck all of you people for bagging all of our losses on him when you can't blame him for our losses because defense is our issue, and everyone just likes to blame Gary. I will say this here. It's dumb. He's playing better now, though, and it's helping.
Yeah, I mean, I just need Gary to bring something to the offensive end.
The thing is, he was having a good season for everything other than three-point shooting. But now, finally, his three-point shooting has come back. In the last 5 games, he's shooting 50% from three.
It's really good.
He's averaging 16 points. He's looking like old Gary Harris. Now, granted, hopefully he keeps this up.
Yeah, we need him to.
As he keeps this up, it'll be great. When MPJ comes back, I'm sure it will go back down because he will go back down to being the 4th option on the starters.
Yeah.
Maybe 5th option, depending on how Millsap's playing sometimes. Yeah. But right now, he's doing great with the extra amount of shots he's taking. He's not forcing threes anymore. And he's playing, again, exceptional defense. I know Luka lit him up, but I feel like that had to come down to he started getting hot. They started switching him off of Gary a lot, and Gary got into foul trouble. And also, he's just Luka Doncic, and he's the next GOAT. So he's good. He's a good player. But at least Gary's playing better. That's great. Two other guys who have started to play better. Well, one just came back, and the other guy is starting to play better. Jermichael has come back, and Facu has played well. What are your thoughts on both of them? I know we touched on Jermichael a little bit.
Jermichael Green, I love. He's one of my. He's like he and Monte are my two favorite bench guys, and it's not even close. I think he's been really good for us, and I think he fits really well for us. Super happy he signed him. Depending on how Millsap plays, he's been playing super well. But eventually, I would not be surprised if they flip spots. Depending,
I don't think they'll ever do that.
It depends on on like how quickly Millsap's now 36-year-old body catches up to him.
True. If Millsap starts to age and digress a lot, but I feel like
because that's kind of what happened in the postseason last season too. Is he just kind of like just looked gassed.
He still started most of those games. So.
I know, but he looked awful at doing it. And then Facu, he's shooting better, and that's what I really want from him.
He's shooting 45% from three, so I have to take back what I said on the last podcast. I guess he can't shoot an NBA three.
Yeah.
It just looks really weird.
It looks weird, but he's been making them. I do have concerns about postseason and Facu.
I don't think he'll be playing in the postseason.
I don't think he will either. but just like he's just too small,
but he's playing great now.
He's. I get why everybody's in love with him.
All the Argentinians love him. And he's been playing great. Again, there was three people who were a huge part of that second Minnesota game. Facu was one of them. It was Gary, Will, and Facu, which is funny because that was the three people everyone was shitting on, and they actually helped us win that game. I think that was a huge game for all three of them. Maybe less Will, but definitely Gary and Facu. Facu played really well in that game. He benched Jamal. Jamal was playing so bad and letting everyone get past him so easily that Facu played that whole game basically, and he did really well. He frustrated D'Angelo Russell. He hit some threes here and there. He got some key buckets, and he's been keeping that up, for all the games he's played. He did not play in the Dallas game, mainly because there's a person named Boban Marjanovic, and if that switch happened, that would have been terrible.
It would have been an automatic bucket every single time.
So good thing Malone was like, hey, maybe I shouldn't play Facu today. But yeah, good for him. He's shooting really well from three. He's starting to look like he's fitting more and more of the team. Like Phil said, I agree. I don't think he'll play in the playoffs, but he's been looking well. Jermichael has been amazing. Like we said, he's our highest three-point shooter at over 50% from three, which is insanely good. He has changed the dynamic of this team ever since he's come back. We have been 4-2 because I think he came back in the Phoenix game. So, and that's a huge difference for our team going from 1-4 to 4-2. And we're 4-1 in our last five, which is huge as well. And we very easily we could have won all of those games. We blew that Mavs game.
Yeah.
So that's good for those guys.
We could have been 7-3 right now if we won those.
And that was going to be my other positive, is that this team isn't even playing well right now, and we're 5-5.
Yeah.
And we very easily, I don't want to say 10-0. I'll say 7-3. But there's possibility. I'll say 9-1 is very possible.
I was gonna say I'll say 8-2. I'll say even 9-1. Yeah.
Those were all the games we lost. We were in it at some points, and then we just blew it because like I said, we always have that one bad quarter, either in the second or the third, that just kills us. But that's been happening on a less amount as of lately. But again, we did play a depleted Sixers team and also the Knicks, even though again the Knicks are a little bit better this year, but they're not great teams. But this team's not even playing that well on defense. We're not a good defensive team. I'm sure that will get better as the season goes on, and these guys are starting finally now to gel more, communicate more, stop doing as many dumb mistakes on defense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as the bench gets better and gets more comfortable with each other, the offense will get better once Jokic comes off the floor and when Malone starts to finally use sensible lineups and not a four-guard lineup.
I am hoping that when MPJ gets back, there will at least be some size on the court at all times.
I also forgot about MPJ. MPJ coming back, we haven't even had him, and we've been playing really well, and that will help us immensely as well. Now, there are some people who are like, well, MPJ has actually been really bad this year because his plus-minus is really negative. I'm going to tell people this. Plus-minus is a misleading stat, and it's a stupid stat because, of course, his minus was in the negative because he played in only losing games so far. You're not going to have a positive plus-minus if you haven't been in any games where you win, except for one. So, of course, He'll get better. His plus minus will go up. I think he's been, like I said before, he was having a good start to the season, even with his defensive liability issues. But I think he was doing fine.
I mean, considering we know that MPJ, what we're getting out of MPJ's defense, we have to accept it at this point. It's not going to be the thing he's going to fix overnight, if ever.
Yeah, and we're missing his 3-point shooting. So it's a huge thing.
We really are. We're missing his rebounds too.
Yeah, we're missing his rebounds, his 3-point shooting. We're just missing his offense in general because, hey, man, we don't even have a guy to take a stupid shot anymore. And I didn't think I would miss that, but sometimes we need a guy to take a stupid shot, and we don't have that right now.
Yeah, because Jamal's not doing it.
He's not doing it. So, I mean, MPJ, whenever he comes back, that would be a huge improvement as well for his team. So I would say things are on the up and up for your Denver Nuggets.
I'm feeling very optimistic, actually.
Yeah, because my main goal was to go 4-2 this week, get back to 500, just start feeling, winning basketball again. And that's what we did. Granted, we did lose to the Mavs, but that was a close game, and I think those guys know they blew it because they had chances to win, and they kept making mistakes at the end. And they also let them back into it because we were up a lot in that game too, and we blew it. I think we were up 18 in that game.
Yeah, I just remember we choked in the fourth quarter at the end.
Yeah, so there's a lot of times where we kind of blew it. I think the biggest issue, again, like I said, is figuring out the issues with not focusing for all 4 quarters. Yesterday was the first time we played a full 4 quarters of basketball, and then maybe the Sixers game, but that one. A little bit. We had a bad first in that one, so I don't know. But yeah, they played really well. I'm proud of these guys, and we got a tough schedule coming up, especially because we're playing some good teams. Thankfully, a lot of these games are at home. We will start off by tomorrow playing I almost said the New Jersey Nets. Jesus Christ. The Brooklyn Nets away. Kyrie will not be playing because he's just. And no one knows where he is. He's AWOL.
I did see him post on Instagram today that is his dad's birthday, but
I don't know where he is. He hasn't been with the team for 4 days. He hasn't traveled with them. He hasn't given them a reason. People thought it had to do with the Capitol riots. No one knows. Anyways, he's not playing tomorrow, so that's good for us. KD is back, though. He passed the protocol. He played yesterday. He looked really good yesterday, even though they lost to the Thunder. And as we all know, Karis LeVert historically just kills us all the time, and he will be playing. So what are your thoughts on that game tomorrow?
This is a tough game. This is a real tough game,
I would say. It's a good team. Even though the records doesn't show it, it's a good team still.
They're a good team, and they're the kind of team that you don't really want to run into as you're trying to figure things out. But I'm going to say we'll play well in this game. I think this is the kind of game that might get Jamal going a little bit.
Okay.
I think he might maybe be feeling up to kind of the scoring challenge in this game against a team that's a contender that everyone is picking to go to the finals. So I'm going to say we lose this probably just because Kevin Durant, but I would say that we play pretty well. We also have a top 10 player, so.
Yeah, we do have, I would say,
the top 5.
Yeah, I would say if our record wasn't 5-5, he would be the clear-cut MVP right now.
Yeah.
He is our team right now.
He is.
It's not even close. You take Nikola Jokic off this team's really bad right now. That is annoying to say, but it's very much true. He's playing that well that it's not even close. He's probably playing at a top 5 player level right now. Nikola is. I know the last couple games he's been a little bit off for his standards as of late, but he's still been having amazing games. This one is one he really needs to step up on. I am a little bit worried because he is going up against 2 athletic centers.
Yeah.
And we know how he does against athletic centers. Not well, but this is a new Jokic who dunks now.
He dunks.
Who jumps, who's athletic.
Yeah. He can do it. I believe in him.
We'll see how he does. It's a good test for him. But I'm more worried about, can Gary keep it up? I think if Gary keeps up how he's playing, we win this game.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, we're going to lose. So I'm going to say we win because I have belief in Gary Harris right now. So I'll say we win this game, but I could very easily see us lose this. It will be a close one for sure because they're always close ones.
Yeah.
Except for the Knicks game. But, yeah, I'll say we'll win. You'll say we lose. And then we go back home for, I think, a 3-game stint, and we play the Warriors And the Warriors have been playing very well since Draymond came back. They're 4-2 since Draymond came back. I think they're 5-4.
They're 6-4.
6-4. They've been playing extremely well. Steph Curry has had some games where he's popped off. Granted, he had a dud of a game last night, but he's been popping off as of lately, and he's always something to be worried about when Jamal. Well, I guess Gary Harris can outguard him, so that's good. But how do you see this game going at home, knowing that we don't have the Wancho killer and it's on national TV?
This is a tough game, but you have to win this game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say we win it because I feel like we still match up well with the Warriors. I don't think Draymond can guard Jokic, and I don't think James Wiseman can guard Jokic right now.
Yeah.
Jokic might have some issues with James Wiseman on the other end, but we have Gary guard Curry, and he'll do what he can.
Yeah.
I think we should win this game, and I'm gonna say we do win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to say we win this game unless Steph pops up for 60.
Yeah.
If he gets 60, then yeah, we're going to lose. Or even if he gets 50, we're going to lose. So let's contain him and we're fine. Let Kelly Oubre shoot, because Kelly Oubre is shooting absolutely garbo from 3. He's shooting like below 15%. That's really bad. It's worse than what Gary was shooting going into the last week. So just let him shoot. Let Draymond try to score. Just let anyone not named Steph Curry try to score that ball. Anyone not named Steph Curry and Damian Lee, because apparently Damian Lee is having a very good season as well off the bench for them. So anyone but those two, let them try to shoot, and we're fine. I think also Jokic is going to have a huge game in this one because he's going up against a rookie in James Wiseman, who's not a good defender. At least not yet. He does get blocks, but he's not a good defender. And I think Jokic is just going to skillfully just destroy that man.
I think he will.
So I think Jokic could very easily get a 30-point triple-double in that game. And who knows, hopefully Jamal finally pops off, because this is the game that Jamal would pop off for because he loves playing the big-name point guards. This is the biggest name point guard in the league. Show out for it. That's all I'm saying. So I say we win this one as well. So what's the next one? It's against...
It's Utah at home.
Rematch.
Yeah.
Oh, big game. Big game. Rematch against the division rivals.
That is a big game.
They haven't been playing super well as of late, I'm pretty sure. I think they're also like middling around 500.
Yeah, our whole division is. They're 6-4.
Okay, so yeah, they're also middling around 500. Donovan Mitchell has had an on and off season. Rudy Gobert has been getting ridiculed by Shaq.
So funny.
So let's use Shaq's name for him. Baguette Biombo. He's coming into town. It's a rematch of that first round. They're definitely going to be up for it. I think we're going to be up for it. Damn, I'm totally saying win for this. This is going to be the game Jamal pops off for, if anything.
I'm saying win, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to lose. I don't think this team touches us right now.
Yeah, I think Jamal's got to show out for this one. He loves playing against Donovan Mitchell, and there's going to be a lot of fucking trash. This game's going to be chippy as fuck. Mm-hmm. They're going to be pissed that they lost to us 3-1. This is going to be a great game. Is this not on national TV?
No.
How?
Dude, it's not even on altitude.
Well, nothing's on altitude.
Yeah, but it's only being televised in Utah.
That's weird. But,
isn't it?
I mean, I think that's a great game. That's going to be a fun one to watch. I don't know how that's not on national TV. That's a huge game. There's going to be a lot of trash talk. Hopefully, MPJ, I think, has the possibility of being back for this one.
He could.
Probably won't be. But he has the possibility to.
I'm guessing he won't actually be back till Phoenix. But,
yeah. But I say win for this as well. So I'll say win. And then we play the Thunder at home. This one, MPJ should be back. This is the game he should be back for. Knock on wood.
I don't think he's going to be back.
This is the timeline. That's the timeline. That's the last day of his goddamn thing. So he should be back for that one. So I'm going to just consider he's back for that one. But even if he's not, I feel like we should win this game.
We should.
But they've been playing decently well, even for a tanking team.
They're 5-4. They're not tanking right now.
The team isn't, but they want it to be tanking.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Shea's been popping off. Dort has been shooting 43% from 3.
Something like that.
So he's really fixed his shot, and he's an amazing defender. So Jamal's going to have a tough game. They don't have anyone to guard Jokic, though, anymore.
I don't even know who their starting center is. I think it's Al Horford.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely can't.
We should win this game. I don't care. We should win this game.
Yeah. See, my thing is just
I'm scared we're gonna lose this game.
My thing is I'm scared we're gonna lose this game, but I also said I just said we're gonna go 4-0 because this is the last game we're gonna predict. I feel like we should go 4-0.
I already got my L in there, so
I know, but I feel like we should go 4-0. I don't want to say we're gonna lose to this team. We're gonna win this team. Fuck it, I believe in my team. They're gonna go 4-0.
Okay. I fucking hope so. Let's do it.
Let's try to go 4-0. I really hope so. But yeah, I mean, this is a very important stretch for us right now that we kind of need to go 4-0 because after this, how long is our road trip after this?
5 games.
And what are the teams? I'm pretty sure they're all hard.
Phoenix twice, Dallas, Miami, San Antonio. So
yeah,
yes,
doesn't sound fun at all.
They're all hard.
Yeah, so how about we go 4-0 here and set us up well for inevitable losses on that road trip?
Yeah, we're not going to win them all, but I feel good about that road trip too, to be honest.
I'm super worried about that back-to-back in Phoenix.
Me too. I am scared of that.
That's not a fun game. But yeah, I'm going to say we go 4-0. These are home games. We better win the home games. If anything, I'm okay with the Nets loss. That'll be the only loss I'm okay with. Otherwise, I really want to beat the Jazz. I want to beat the Warriors, and I want to beat definitely the Thunder. So, yeah, let's go 4-0. You said 3-1, so I'm okay with that because you said we lose to the Nets. We'll see how this team's doing. They're definitely playing a lot better than they have been. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully MPJ comes back at some point. But, yeah, that's everything I think we had for this week's episode, unless there was any last bit you want to add.
I don't think so.
Alrighty then. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Tell a friend if you enjoyed it. Know that we're also on all the podcasting platforms if you want to listen to us over there. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Go Nuggets.